In this video, we are going to discuss about the nomenclature of organic compound. As you all know, in the previous video, we have seen about trivial system and Iupac system. In this video, we are going to see in detail about Iupac system of nomenclature. Iupac, as you know, International Union for Pure and Applied Chemistry is known as Iupac. And we have certain rules under Iupac for writing the name of an organic compound. Here, Iupac name of any compound include three parts. The first part is word root, second suffix, and the third one is prefix. Word root include the number of carbon atoms present in a molecule or else in principal chain. Suffix include functional group which are present in the molecule, and suffix is of two types, primary suffix and secondary suffix, whereas prefix is the substituent which are present in the molecule. Prefix is of four types, primary prefix and secondary prefix. In addition to this, we have numerical prefix and number prefix. Let us see the first thing, word root. As we have said, word root is nothing but the number of carbon atoms present in a molecule or principal chain. While taking the example, we will see in detail about word root. But if one carbon is present in the molecule or principal chain, we are going to call it as meth. If two carbons are present, we are going to say it as eth, 3 prop, 4 but, 5 pent, 6 hex, 7 hept, 8 oct, 9 non, and 10 dec. These are the word roots used for the number of carbon atoms present in the molecule or principal chain. For example, if the principal chain includes only 3 carbon atoms, we are going to take the word root as prop. For example, if the principal chain includes 7 carbon atoms, we are going to use the word root as hept. Remember here, while naming a compound, we are going to use certain punctuation marks. While naming, numbers are separated by comma and number and designation by hyphen. These are the symbols used while naming the compound. The first one is comma and the second one is hyphen. Hyphen is used between number and designation, whereas comma is used in between the numbers. When it comes to the prefix, as we said, prefix are mainly 4 types: primary, secondary, numerical prefix and number prefix. Primary prefix, it is used only for cyclic compound. If we have a cyclic compound, we are going to use the prefix as cyclo. It is used only for the cyclic compounds. Secondary prefix, this tells about the secondary grade functional group. If there are two functional groups present in a molecule, the first one is considered as suffix and the second functional group is considered as secondary prefix. For example, if in a molecule halogen is present, we are going to name it as halo. For example, we have chlorine, we take it as chloro. If we have bromine, we are going to take it as bromo. In the similar way, if alkyl group is present, we are going to name it as alkyl group. If it is 1 carbon alkyl group, we are going to take it as methyl. If it is 2 carbon, it is ethyl. In the similar way, alkoxy groups are also considered under prefix, that too secondary prefix. When it comes to the numerical prefix, when same functional groups or substituents are multiple bond repeat twice, thrice, we are going to denote it by di, tri, tetra. This is considered as numerical prefix. And number prefix, this tells about to which carbon atom of the compound the substituent is present, or multiple bond is present, or functional group is attached. Number prefix says the exact location of a substituent or multiple bond or functional group attached to the carbon present in a compound. Suffix. When it comes to suffix, as we said, suffix are of mainly two types: primary suffix and secondary suffix. Primary suffix tells about the saturation of the compound. As you all know, we have alkane, alkene and alkynes. If a compound has only saturated single bond, we are going to consider it as alkane and the suffix ane is attached to the compound. If the compound contains double bond and triple bond, it is considered as unsaturated compound. If double bond is present, we are going to attach the suffix as ene, whereas if triple bond is present, we are going to attach a suffix yne. When it comes to the secondary suffix, this tells about the functional group with the particular term. Here, if for suppose alcohol is present as the functional group in a compound, we are going to attach OL at the end of the name of the compound. If aldehyde is present, we are going to take it as AL. If ketone is present, we are going to attach ONE. If carboxylic acid is present as the functional group in a compound, it ends with oic acid. Here we are going to see about the next things. Now we have known what is word root, what is suffix and what is prefix. Let us see certain rules to be followed while writing the name of the organic compound. In an organic compound, if you find more than one substituent in the structure, for example, if you find halo group and alkoxy group in the same compound, then you are going to name the substituents on the basis of alphabetical order. If you find more than one functional group in the structure, you select the principal functional group and write it as secondary suffix. All other functional groups become substituent. For suppose in an organic compound, you have acid group and ester group. You should consider acid group as the principal functional group, and you are going to add oic acid as the secondary suffix, and remaining all, that is, for suppose if ester is present in the compound, you are going to take ester as the other functional group and it becomes substituent. For example, if you have acid group and aldehyde group in the same compound, you are going to take acid as the main functional group or principal functional group, whereas aldehyde is considered as substituent in that compound. Remember that the carbon of the functional group is included in main carbon chain. If you have an acid functional group, you are going to consider this carbon also should be included under main carbon chain. Here the important thing is numbering of carbon atoms while writing the nomenclature of an organic compound. While numbering the carbon atoms, we can number the carbon atoms from left to right or right to left, so that the sum of the number of indicating the position of substituents and functional groups should be minimum possible. Here you have to remember, if you add the positions of the substituents and the functional group, it should be of minimum value. You can number the carbon atoms from left to right or right to left. It depends on getting the minimum possible value. The functional group carbon should be given the lowest number even if it does not obey the rule 1. Always, if oic acid is present in the compound or else COOH group is present in the compound, it should be given the first number, whether it may follow the lowest or minimum possible number or not. The carbon atoms of the chain terminating functional group, say aldehyde, should be given always number 1 even if it does not obey rule 1 or rule 2. These are the rules to be followed while numbering the carbon atom. The first rule is you can number the carbon atom from left to right or right to left, and you should see that the substituents and functional group should get the least possible number. The second rule is functional group carbon should be given the lowest number, whether it may disobey the rule number 1. And the third thing is chain terminating functional group. For example, aldehyde or oic acid should be given least number or first number while writing the name of an organic compound, whether it may disobey rule 1 or rule 2. You are going to give the least number or first number to the aldehyde group or acid group. Let us see longest chain rule. You have to select the longest continuous chain of the carbon atom, which is known as parent chain or principal chain, while naming the organic compound. All other carbon atoms constitute in the chain are branched chain or side chain. For example, if you see here, you have a organic compound here. If you number this organic compound from right side or left side, starting from here, if you are giving the first number to this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can also give the number from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is considered as the parent chain, whereas these two are considered as branch chain or side chain. Let us take an example of this one. If you start giving numbering from here 1, 2, 3, 4, always remember that functional group should be included in the parent chain, and we know the rule that aldehyde should be given first number. If we start counting from here 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have one more thing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you see this is the longest chain and this is the smallest chain, so we are going to consider this as the principal chain or parent chain. In the similar way, if you see here, we are going to consider 1, 2, 3, 4. Why we are considering this as the first carbon and this as the last carbon? Because this is acid group, and always acid group should be given the first number. If you see here, in this compound you have two functional groups. This is acid and this is alcohol. So we are going to consider this to be as the primary functional group. If we take this as the example, again we are going to number it from here, acid functional group. If we count this 1, 2, 3, 4, if we count this one 1, 2, 3, 4, if we count like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is considered as the longest chain, whereas these two are considered as side chains or branches. Lowest sum rule. For example, if we have a carbon compound which contains only one substituent group, the carbon atom to which the substituent group is attached should be given the lowest number. Here, while numbering the carbon atoms, the carbon atom to which the substituents is attached should be given the lowest number, or else it will be the incorrect method. If you see here, we have started numbering the carbon atoms from here 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth carbon is the carbon atom to which the substituent is attached. If you see here, in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here the second carbon is the carbon atom to which the substituent is attached. In these two methods, while numbering, here the substituent is attached to the fourth carbon, here the substituent is attached to the second carbon. So the correct method of numbering of a carbon compound is this one, because in this case the substituent is attached to the carbon atom which is having lowest value. Now the second rule, lowest sum rule. If there are two or more substituents in a carbon compound, the parent chain is numbered from the end, which gives the lowest sum of more substituent carbon atom. If you see here, we have taken two examples. In each example, the molecule which we have taken is the same one. if you see here the numbering of carbon atom is given in such a way that the substituents are getting maximum number, whereas here the number is given in such a way that the substituents are getting the least number. So out of these two, the correct method of numbering is this one, because the substituents are getting the least number. If you see here, we have numbered it from left to right, because of which the substituent is getting fifth number. If we add all this value, we are going to get 2 plus 5 plus 5. Why? Because on second carbon we have a substituent, on fifth carbon we have two substituents. If we add these values, we are going to get 12. Whereas if we number the carbon atoms from right to left, we are going to get more number of substituents attached to the carbon atom which is having least value. If you see here 1, 2, second carbon is having more substituents attached to it. If we sum this value, we are going to get the total value as 9. The correct method of numbering is this one. Why? Because in this case we are getting the lowest sum. The last rule while naming the organic compound is alphabetical order. When two or more different groups are present, such groups should be arranged in alphabetical order. If we have chloro, bromo in the same organic compound, we are going to write bromo first, then we are going to write chloro next to bromo, because in alphabetical order B comes first, then comes C. Let us discuss some examples of organic compounds and see how to write the name of an organic compound. For example, the first carbon compound, here we have taken is nothing but 2 carbon compound. If there are 2 carbons, we are going to take it the word root as ith. And if you see here closely, you have only single bonds present in the molecule, so the saturation is alkane and the suffix to be attached here is ane. If you see the next example, we have again 2 carbons. If there are 2 carbons, the word root will be ith, and as there is a double bond between the 2 carbon atoms, we are going to consider it as ene. So the name of the compound will be ethene. In the third case, we have 4 carbons and all are single bonds present in the molecule, so we are naming it as butane. Because 4 carbons are there, the word root will be but. As there are only single bonds present in the molecule, we are going to take it as ane. The next example, if you see here, we have 4 carbons, so the word root will be but. As there are only single bonds, it is ane. Here comes the numbering. Why? Because a substituent is present. If we number from here, the substituent will get 3 as the number. So we are numbering from here so that the substituent should be attached to the second carbon. So the name of this compound is 2-chlorobutane. The next example is, if you see here, we have again 4 carbons. In this also we have only single bonds, so the word root is but and the saturation is ane. We have 2 chlorine atoms, so it is chloro. Here the numerical prefix is di, because 2 chlorine atoms are there, so it is dichloro. And the position of the chlorine atoms is the second carbon and third carbon, so they are written as 2, 3. As we have discussed before, the punctuation marks to be used while writing the nomenclature of an organic compound is the number should be separated by comma and the number word should be separated by hyphen. The last example which we are going to discuss is a 3 carbon compound. As you know, this one is aldehyde and it is a chain terminating functional group. And we know that the carbon atom present in the functional group should also be considered under parent chain. So 1, 2, 3 carbons are there, so the word root will be prop. As there are only single bonds, it is ane, and we have a functional group in this which should be considered as secondary suffix. It is aldehyde, so we are going to take as Al. So the name of this compound is propanol. Thank you.